The retreat is themed beyond, push beyond what? The limit. Isn't it? Beyond the limit. A very important lesson, because I want us to learn from it. That once it is devoid of you and I, you will become somebody to run away from rather than to be embraced. And you will be found wanting. And what is that? And that is why I have decided to give the theme of my own retreat with you. You have been treated. You have always been treated. And that's why we call it a what? A retreat. Pushing beyond the limits without jeopardizing work ethics. Pushing beyond the limits without jeopardizing work ethics. And for the purpose of this retreat, by the time we conclude, it is expected that we are going to achieve the following. Number one, it is expected that we achieve a composite understanding of the dynamics of what is known as personal and organizational what? Limits. Number two, this retreat will give us the impetus to develop a mindset of breaking barriers to achieve organizational goals so as to be one of the best. And in addition, it will assist us to build a fantastic rather than bad work ethics for personal and organizational goals achievements. And that will take me to this. What is that limit we are talking about? Ideas rule the world. And it is expected of any living being to be able to idealize. And when you say limit, it is a polymorphous noun that has different meanings to different people, that can be used in different contexts. It is contextual in nature. But in order to suit the purpose of this retreat, I have taken it to be a threshold, a restriction, a target, and a bound beyond which you may not want to ordinarily go. It is seen as a benchmark. Expectations from an individual or a group of individuals that makes up an organization. And so, it is dyadic in nature. It is of two types. We have what is called personal limits. And we have what is called what? Organizational what? Limit. When you talk about personal limit, you are talking about your capacity. What do I call it? Your capacity. That you have attained as a result of training. That you have achieved as a result of your qualification. When you talk about capacity, capacity differs from ability. Ability is inborn. It's an endowment. It's something that you can do even without observing any process. And that is why I tell people every individual is born with idea. You have what is called innate what? Quotient. To observe, to initiate, to act, without going through any pedagogy, any instructional process, without going through any vocational disposition. So ability is a talent that you are born with. And if you note very well, if you are in the midst of some people, don't look at yourself first. Let me start with people. You observe some people who are still young, and you realize that there are some tasks that they can perform. Then you wonder, how would this young person be able to discharge this what? Duty, or carry out this task, or manifest this what? Skill. It is because that person has been born with it. And that person has either genetically taken some of the genes of the father or the mother to be able to automatically be able to do that thing. And that's why we say, Abinibi Koyato. That is one thing I want to correct. Abinibi and ability are the same. We only have language what? Difference. The meaning of ability is Abinibi in Yoruba. Hello? And that's why I tell you, ability is what you are born with. It is either you got the gene from your parents, one, or your contact with the immediate environment. Without anybody showing you, you were able to use your sensory organs to observe. Some children, you just realize that probably because of what they are watching, they can plait air. They carry their dolls and they will plait beautiful what styles. Then you wonder, what you are born with is what? Abinibi. And that is the same thing with the English counterpart, ability. Ability are things that you are what? Born with. So abinibi o yato sí ability, correct that now. Eh? But abinibi yato sí capacity. Because capacity is that temerity and quotient for you to discharge a task after going through a form of training, after going through instructional process. We call it capacity. That is the power that you got from capability. From what? Capability. And I'll tell you, when you look at capability, it is a combination of cap and what? Ability. And what is cap? Cap is not the one I'm wearing, no. Because when I say cap, you said, cap. You are not wearing one. I am wearing one. I think the MC2 is wearing one. But it is not this cap. But it connotes cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. What do I call it? Cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Hello? I said cap. It is not this cap I'm wearing. When you look at ability, we have said something you are born with, isn't it? But when you now look at capability, it is a combination of that cap. The cap is called domains of learning. That means you have learned some things from somebody or from something that you have what? Observed, or a process that you have undergone. And from that, you have acquired three things. You have acquired what is called cognitive, which indicates knowledge. You have acquired psychomotor, which indicates being able to use your hands and the sensory organs that you have to carry out a task. That is what? Psychomotor. And you have acquired a third thing, which is important. Affective. Which indicates what? Attitude. And that's why we talk about knowledge, skill, and attitude. KSA. So, knowledge, skill, and attitude is a byproduct of CAP. The cognitive will give you knowledge. The psychomotor will give you skill. The affective will give you what? Attitude. So the combination of that, in addition to what you possess ordinarily, is capability. And those two, ability and capability, now determines your capacity, which is your what? Your quotient to carry out what? A task. So when you are talking about limits, the limit, like I said, is either a personal limit or an organizational what? Limit. And I said it determines what? Expectations, a threshold, a boundary, a benchmark, that, or a target that you are expected to what? To meet up with. So when you look at that, once a target has been given to you, it is expected that you meet that target. Once you meet that target, then the organization will see you as a highly performing what? Staff. Isn't it? But to you personally, you are going to be happy with yourself that today, oh, I was asked to carry out 3 tasks, and I was able to carry out those what? 3 tasks. Now, that is your threshold. And you look at yourself, sometimes your personal limit may be above organizational limit. The organization has given you 3 tasks, but you know deep down within yourself that I can carry out what? 5 tasks. That 5 tasks is your own personal what? Limit. But you decided not to exhibit it. Just say, I've done it. I've done them, and I'm okay. But you know that there are some other things that are what? That are hanging. And you still has the capacity to carry them out. But you decide to do what? To look away. To say, this is what I've been asked to do. But does that make you to be a reliable staff? When you know that you can do more, but you decided to do less, just because what has been given to you have been what? Have been carried out. And you look at the remaining that are still hanging. That That is on one hand. On the other hand, your personal limit may be below the organizational what? Limit. The organization can give you 3 things. And within you, you only have the capacity to carry out what? 2. You know, I say, well, I cannot kill myself. This is what I can do. You cannot finish government work. Or that somebody else's work, you have to do it. Yeah, do your best and leave the rest. Leave the rest for who? So, those 2 limits, whether it is your own personal or the organizational limit, you must not stay at that, because that defines what is called comfort zone. It defines what is called what? Comfort zone. What you can do. Or what I have been asked to do. But it is expected that you should be able, and that is what we mean by pushing beyond the limit. You should at all time try to be extraordinary. Because at most times, workers think about reward. They think more about reward and less about what? Service. But he who wants to be successful must think more about service and less about what? Reward. Because the level of the service you discharge would have a multiplier effect on you, but a summative effect on the organization. It can only add to the productivity of the organization by improving their profits, but it will build your own personal what? Development, which nobody can take away from you. So that by the time you have your own organization, you will be able to do more than necessary. And when people look at you and say, no, this is a benchmark. If my boss can do this, no, I will try as much as possible to do what? To do more. But if you that owns the organization cannot do better, because when you were serving too, you were limiting yourself to what limitation have been put up before you, but not to what you can do. So it is expected that if you want to push beyond the limit, you must be ready to challenge yourself to do bigger and better things on a regular basis. Don't limit yourself to what you have been asked to do alone. Try as much as possible to take more responsibility. If you are not even giving, you can request. Once you know that you have that what? Capacity. That's the first thing you must consider. If you have that what? Capacity. So, how do you exhibit pushing beyond? Let me give you an illustration. Next slide, please. Let me give you an illustration. There was a man who decided to improve his stature and decided to say, I want to develop 6 packs. Although, who 6 pack help? Now ladies, now they look for 6 packs. And I know the contemporary ladies of nowadays are not looking for 6 packs. But you are looking for what? 9 zeros. You are looking for 9 zeros. You are not even talking about 6 again. We are talking about what? Billions. Because women, you are our motivator. When we look at you, that's why we decide to say, hey, I want to do more, I want to make it. The car I'm using is no more in vogue. So that when Caroline see me, even before talking to her, she will be the first person to greet me. Even when we are married, sometimes we tend to want to do what? Impress the ladies around. So this man decided to gather muscle and say, oh, I want to be fitted. I have everything. But when I wear clothes, the cloth does not fit me. What has happened here? The man has developed a what? A goal. Isn't it? We have something called goal. We have something called aims. We have another thing called what? Objective. The 3 signifies purpose, rationale, to be actualized within different period of time. Objective is what you want to achieve within a short period of time. From immediately to say 24 hours, 2 days, 1 week to a month. Objective. What do you want to achieve immediately? And that's why when you look at, when I started, I said the objective of this world, retreat. What should we actualize immediately after this word? Retreat. Objective. And when you talk about aims, you talk about things to be achieved within medium term, say between 1 month up to 11 months. Your aim. And when you talk about goals, what you want to achieve in what? Long term. 1 year and above. So actually, the man has that intention and he developed a goal. I say, okay, this thing may take me up to a year. I wouldn't mind. I'll just be going and I'll be consistent. So eventually, he started visiting the gym. And when he visits the gym, he will carry weights, do Kegel exercise. For men, we know reason for doing Kegel. Abi, don't let them know, so that they will not know our secrets. Mr. Femi, do you go to gym? You need to be going to gym, oh. Gather muscle so that mommy will know that yes, khaki no be leather. You become a Superman. Okay. You can turn the cable to weightlifting. Mommy, check the. Okay. So he started visiting the gym, carrying weights, doing Kegel, and eating good food. I can hear some side talks. Okay? Then one day, he looked at himself and said, okay, I have gathered some muscle. But after 6 months, this muscle did not what? Increase. And I keep on coming. This is the 9th month. The one I have actualized after 6 months is what I'm still getting. There is stagnancy. And they sat down, look at, what is happening? See, at that point, where there is no more increment, as an outcome of what he or she has been doing, that is what? Limit. His limit because he did not increase the scale of the weight he was carrying. It's like to say, so they have started appreciating me. And he continued to carry that. What do you call your cable this thing? Is it rim? Is it coil? He has been carrying one coil. And because in the organization, that man is consistent. He will always sell a coil of oil. And he's still happy that they are saying I'm selling a coil today, a coil, tomorrow, a coil. Next day. He did not even think of how can I increase. So the guy realized that there is no more increment in the output. And what will be the problem? The problem is that is the limit. Then now look at, should it be because this thing is supposed to increase because I'm still carrying it every day. And there was a day I realized that I think I need to increase the scale. At that point, when he decided to increase the scale, that was when he has decided to push beyond his what? His limits. And he increased the scale. Initially, it was highly strenuous. And it brought what? Stress. You know, from what you have been used to. Now increasing it. It's not easy. But he decided to keep up with it. And after a short while, then he started seeing some changes. And he started to add more gradually, until he now become a muscular man who is a superstar. What has that taught us? It has taught us that when you want to achieve success, you must be ready to what? To embrace stress. You must what? Embrace stress. Whatever gives you stress, if you are consistent with it, with some principles, it's going to bring out something that you're going to appreciate. So you cannot push beyond your limit if you have not decided to challenge the status quo. Your present condition, you did not want to challenge it. Those things you have achieved, you did not think of having an increment. Then, you are still within your what? Limit. So, we must be ready. If we are determined to push beyond our limit, to push through by applying, please note this, don't bite more than you can what? Chew. And that's why I tell people, whenever I go out for seminars, most especially HR seminars, I tell you, don't try to impress your boss. If you want to improve on your limit, do that because you feel that it will improve your personal what? Personal growth. And not because I want my boss to say, Elizabeth is a hardworking. So you are a very hardworking woman. I'll prophesize that. I think I've seen that. So you are a very hardworking person. Thank God I didn't use it in a negative. So you must decide. When there is no pain, there can be no what? Gain. Portable said, who goes help you, no go stress you. For where? For where? It is only the Almighty God that will not stress you. And with that too, you will encounter what? Stress. Because the Bible has said, from your sweat, thou shalt what? So now tell me, you must be ready. So in your organization, be ready to face the hurdles. But try to look at it, not because you want to impress. Because you are trying to impress, you become what? Depressed. Because you have an expectation from somebody. And that is what causes disappointment. When you are expecting that with this I'm doing, they are supposed to give me overtime and they didn't give you, it will demotivate you because you feel disappointed. But if you are doing it because you are doing what? You are developing yourself. You continue to grow in skill and what? Capacity. Then how do we push beyond our limits? Do the following if you want to push beyond your limits. Number one, seek assistance for a push-up. Seek assistance. You may not have beyond that capacity at which you are operating. But the day you realize that I need to improve on it, talk to people. Don't close your mind. A closed mouth is a mouth that cannot dine and wine. Why you close your mouth? Can food enter? Eh? No, you will not enjoy one of the ornaments of life. Yes, generally it's a closed destiny. Because part of the destiny that of human being is to come to life and what? Eat, shop, be satisfied, and do what? Pass out. Eh? Isn't it? But when you close the mouth, there is no room for food to enter. And that's why we say it's a closed what? Destiny. Nobody will know where the shoe is paining you if you don't speak out. So request for assistance. 2, take on a little more than your known capacity. You have known your capacity, but try to accept more responsibility. Even if you are not giving, because they look at you, this is still a fresh staff. I feel that if I'm giving that, I can. Why not talk? So take up that challenge. Sir, I think I can. Let me try out this. I have always been in the store, but allow me, I can go out to market. Then 3, envision reaching the next level. Envision what? Reaching the next what? Level. See, if you do not visualize, picture where you are going, you will not determine to go there. Because the difference between here and there is what? Time. So you must envision. Just look at, today I'm a storekeeper. Well, I can be the general manager. You have set something for yourself. Isn't it? Yeah. The next one. Then emulate top-notch professional in your field. You need mentors. There is something called mentee-mentor relationship. If nobody is ready to mentor you, ask somebody that you feel that this person has what? Actualized more. Tell that person, I want to be under your tutelage. See, followers should be ready to choose their what? Leaders. And when you discover somebody that you feel there's something you can learn from in your workplace, even if that person has showcased any interest before and you don't like it, ignore that. Meet that person. I want to learn how to do this. Then work on your weaknesses. How can you work on your weakness if you don't discover your weakness? You have to develop a medium for discovering your weakness. If you look at yourself very well, you discover your weakness. And if somebody tells you, you have deficiency here, listen to that person and work on that what? Weakness. Then inspire yourself to action. Whatever you learn, put that thing into what? Practice. Practice makes what? Perfection. And when you commit errors, some people decide to identify the error. Be ready to listen to that and take action to correct it. When you correct your errors, you become what? An expert. Then try as much as possible to break down your what? Barrier. And that's why we said identify your weakness. That your weakness, your limitation, your own personal limitation first, is a barrier. the organization one may not be a barrier to you because that is their what? Desire. But your own personal one is a barrier. Even the one that the organization has set for you, the target, seems to be a barrier. Because if you decide to keep up to that, that means you will wait for the conventional promotion process. You will not experience the what? The overtaking promotion. You know there is overtaking promotion. So be ready to break the barrier by pushing through. But when you are pushing through, ladies and gentlemen, be weary of work ethics. Be weary of what? Work ethics. Some people, because they want to climb the ladder of leadership in a workplace, they tend to say this unacceptable thing. Come what may, I'll do anything, everything possible. Anything and everything was possible. It makes one to be desperate. When you say, I will do anything and everything possible, that means you are ready to sell your body. You are ready to seduce. You are ready to embezzle. You are ready to steal cable wires behind bars, sell it out. You are ready to what? To backbite. You are ready to gossip. You are ready to bring somebody down because you want to climb up. So it is important that we must understand what is work ethics. Because your pushing through will be undermined if you push through the limit and you assassinate work ethics. And what are work ethics? I've been given time like 30 minutes, Abby. Okay, I will rush through. For retreat, okay. Now, work ethics. When you talk about work ethics, you are talking about morals, moral guidelines. Look at that. Moral what? Guidelines. You're talking about standards. You're talking about rules and what? Regulation. That you must conform with. That you must abide what? By. That you must allow to be your guide to circumvent your conduct. And under that, we have two forms of ethics. We have what is called good ethics. We have what is called what? Bad ethics. When you talk about good ethics, you are talking about professionalism. Professionalism. We are talking about accountability. We are talking about what? Punctuality and what? Honesty. Which signifies the best policy in a workplace. And when you talk about bad ethics, like a lackadaisical attitude, I don't care. Nothing concerns me. Nobody say make more months come and make I collect my pay. They work now. Maybe now you want to kill yourself. Truancy. Some people will tell lies because they want to run away from work. I say, I have a headache. Truancy. Rumor mongering and what? Corruption. Next slide, please. And corruption. So, when you look at good and bad ethics, you talk about something that can enhance workplace ethics, that makes you to become professional, that makes you to be hardworking, that makes you to be what? Dedicated. And that of bad habits are suffers that showcase what? Unprofessional attitude, that lack competitiveness, that lack the desire to work, but they want to collect, they don't want to give. Employees with bad or weak work ethics engage in unprofessional relationship because you want to go up and you are not ready to do the needful. You go behind back door. You say, Mommy will not know. Mommy will not know now. I'll come and meet you somewhere. So we should try as much as possible to embrace the good ethics. And we must try to what? To avoid the bad what? Ethics. Next slide, please. And I want you to look at this. There are two scenarios. There are two scenarios there. This is an activity for all of us, because this is a retreat. Now the first one says that Femi, okay, I don't know if it is our gas Femi. This is incidental. Femi takes great pride in his work, blah blah blah. He works because of time. You can read, and he does everything he needs to do to time, prioritize tasks, before he doesn't allow social media to give what? Distractions. But he's always focused. He tries as much as possible to avoid procrastination. And procrastination is the thief of time. And he tries to avoid that. And he ensures quality. And he tries as much as possible to balance his work life. Then when he goes for a break, he comes back on time. He will not use that break to say, I'm going to enjoy me there. And you want break. Then we have the other person, Koza. Koza is known for forming unprofessional relationship. He engages in power politics, try to backbite, bring people down, rumor, gossip. Instead of working, we just say, Shema, come now. See waiting, Madam Weir come yesterday. The madam too like to show herself. Say na only her and husband go first get establishment. My own husband too go get when you never marry. So ladies and gentlemen, between Femi and Koza, who would you want to be like and why? Can we put that down? Who would you want to be like and what? Why? That's a question for you. It's an activity. Between Femi and what? Koza. Who would you want to be like? And if you have decided to choose one, why have you decided to choose that person? Can I get a response? Okay?
To me, I would choose Femi because I saw diligence, I saw sincerity, I saw professionalism, and I saw hard working. So that's why I would choose Femi.
Even when Femi has not been compensated for that. Yes. Nobody has noticed Femi to be, you decide to choose Femi. Okay? Why? Because you see professionalism. Is that the only reason?
Sincerity, being sincere in his work and doing it better.
Okay. Now tell me how. Another person should tell me how you can what? Imbibe the sterling characters and work ethics of Femi. How can you imbibe that? Can I get a response from anybody? How can you imbibe that? Okay?
Thank you, sir. I want to say something. I will choose Femi. The Femi I'm choosing here is George. They all know George. When I was following that man, that's the MD of Coleman.
Okay.
I was just following him, but I never knew I was learning. And then when I left Coleman as a staff, I became a distributor. We're number last. I think almost number 40 something. But I studied what he was doing, like you said, Femi, and I was just doing it. I'm from number over 40. In fact, then somebody used to tell me, that's our pastor where I was before, he would pray and say, you'll become number one. Sometimes I won't even say amen. I just follow this judge. He's a man I know that sleeps for only 2.5 hours. And when we started together, Koma was number last. So I studied him so closely. And I was just doing what he was doing then. I was just doing it. Like I used to say some of them, when we go for marketing, just look at the way I do it. That was what I was doing then. I never learned it in school. And before I could say Jack Robinson, I saw myself number 4. I saw myself number 3. I saw myself number 2. I saw myself number 1. I will be number 1 for almost 7 years now. So I think I'll follow Femi.
I think we can do better. If you want to clap, you clap. You are not Paralympian now. Eh. God bless you for that. God bless you for that anecdote. So we all who want to choose Femi because we are in the what? Outer world. When you are within your inner world, some of you feel like, Kenny. So they are saying their own. So it is important that we take, and that is why whatever you are doing, note that somebody somewhere is watching you. Watching you for 2 reasons. One is watching you to compensate you. Another one is watching you to what? To either emulate or imitate you. So you are somebody's leader. Everyone here present has what? A leader. And that's why you must try to be a positive what? Role model. So that is that. Now, based on this, there are different types of ethics. Recall that I said that you have 2 forms, good and what? Bad. On that note, there are ethics that are personal. We call that personal what? Ethics. That is the starting point of ethical consideration. Charity begins. And that's why whatever you do outside is a reflection of your what? Of your own background. Even though some people imitate, but it will have an element of what you were what? Trained at home with. And that's why we see parental influence as a great what? Influence. Because they are our first bosses. They are our first teachers. Then we have business ethics. The way, the standards by which business should be what? Discharged. Employers ethics. The expectation of employers. Customers ethics. How do you relate with the customers? Some of you allow the issue you have at home to overshadow your customer what? Relationship. And when you allow that, I will say that person does not possess emotional intelligence. When you allow your emotion to overshadow your interaction, not transfer aggression, it is unprofessional. You should jettison once you leave home and you say you are coming to work. Whatever happens to you at home should be what? Should be forgotten. Then we have what is called legal ethics. When we are discharging, when we are carrying out our businesses, we should be weary of the what? Stipulations of what? Laws. In order to avoid what? Litigation. That staff that always bring about issue of litigation to the organization will be known for what? Negativity. You always fight with somebody because they do this. You display. No. No, if I was born and bred in a ghetto of Makoko. But as I grow up and I meet people, I jettison that attitude. That is a story for another day. It is a story that makes me to be doing something that has become my niche today. So then we have what is called social and environmental ethics. How do you relate with neighbors around your organization? And that Mr. Femi has been doing that, but have you been doing that? Because something corporate social responsibility. Most of the time, workers believe that the organization should always do that. No, it is not limited to the organization. You too should display that. You are working around an environment. The neighbors in that environment, people around that environment, should be able to learn something from you. Should be able to gain something from you. And whatever they gain from you, they give the what? The accolade back to the what? Organization. And that will improve the goodwill of the organization. So, people from Laurel's Electrical, they are well behaved. In fact, they are caring. They are share givers. Share givers, not in the other way around, though. So, then we have cultural and what? Diversity ethics. This is important, sir. A lot of owners of establishments and workers are tribalistic. Now this one, this one is Igbo. No, I will not work with him. In fact, if you are forced to work together, I will create fiasco. Something that would nail him. So I'm not paying Yoruba lower. I was like, I cannot work closely with. No, we must try to look at how we can do what? We can create a confluence. A confluence that will not manifest tribalism. So, we must be able, and once we look at all this, it will facilitate what is called organizational what? Effectiveness and what? Efficiency. Now, what are the ethical behavior? Now the behavior, the dispositions. Dispositions. You must try to obey the company rule. You don't have excuse. Whether it suits you or not, it has become a rule, and it's a rule. Whether it affects your religious, what have you. Since you have signed to say, I want to belong to this what? Organization. Whatever the rules they establish, you must what? Abide by. Then, communicate effectively. Some people don't know how to talk. You must develop positive, mild, soft, but firm way to even give commands. Don't bring people down. Because you are the boss, and you are saying, hey, you go and hey, hey, show Moruko any, hey, some people, yes, hey, are you not the one I'm talking to? No, you don't exhibit that. It's an unethical behavior. So don't try to avoid that. Then respect. You have to respect your colleagues. Although I'm not saying you should give consideration to age. Age is nothing to recognize. If I have my way, religion and age will not be part of organization record. Religion and what? Age. Religion, age, and what? And tribe. Those three things. So, what the way you interact, when you want to even caution with that undertone of what? Respect. You have to do that. Then develop professional relationship, responsibility, and punctuality, accountability. Then uphold what? Trust. For whatever responsibility that have been given to you, you have been entrusted. Don't divulge your organization's what? Information. That's what is called what? Confidentiality of what? Official information. If you are told something, you are not asked to tell another person, even if that person is the closest to you in the organization. Once you are not empowered to tell, you don't tell anybody. No matter how close that person is. You said, this person has committed this, and tomorrow I'm going to sanction or suspend. You know what I'm saying? Oh, see, God will sanction you tomorrow. Gossipers will take no reward. You won't take more than thank you. Ẹ rántí orin òbí, ẹ ṣe ń wọ́n ẹ padà. Kò tí ẹ ń ṣe ìjà lélẹ́yìn náà. Then try to show initiative without being told and work smarter. Work smarter. What do I mean by working smarter? We have smartphones. There are some things that we may be saddled with that may create confusion. Consult your dictionary. Some, you need to Google. Seek information. If you don't seek information, you will not know the current trend of doing what? Things in the global world. Don't wait till you are told, now go and look for the common. If you are a marketer, try to search for the contemporary ways of what? Marketing. If you are the record keeper, try to what? Search for the best practices in terms of what? Record keeping or stock keeping. Try to be smarter. Don't allow your smartphone to be smarter than you, but you should be smarter than your smartphone. Organize a training on conflict management. Probably next time. It is important because where you have more than one person interacting, there must be what? Conflict. And it is important for people to know how to manage conflict. Conflict is unavoidable, but it is what? Manageable. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Then we have non-office related works. An extended break. Some of you, they give you 30 minutes break. Now you now get there. You decide to use 1 hour to see your bobo around. And after seeing him, I said, well, Mambo, no. Look at what our guy said. I was following somebody, and following that person, I was just doing it without any goal. Then you were goalless. But even though you were goalless, you were learning something indirectly. And at a point, you have not discovered yourself. But because you were consistent with following that person, and you were observing that person, that creates an awareness in you. And you were able to now discover that, yes, I can do better. And today, from nothing, you have become something. From something, you have become what? Marvelous. Congratulations, sir. Then, sexual harassment. Hey, I've been looking at some fine babies. Are they babies or babes? Eh? Okay, no more babes. It's now bae. Okay. Who is the boo? So we have boo and bae. Okay. So I've been noticing you try to avoid that. Even if you see, organization, association will give room for marital, but most of us are not doing that for marital. Just look at, I must get down to the root of, I must fire below. If you look at that girl, and from that, you try to woo that person, and that person did not give room for that. You now think of sexual what? Harassment, because you are superior. It's an unethical behavior. You must eschew that. And this is to organization and immediate bosses. Don't set unrealistic what? Expectations. Before you set expectation, look at it whether you yourself can what? Can achieve that. Any expectations, sir, that you are going to give to your workers must be expectations that are smart what? Compliant. It must be specific. It must be measurable. It must be what? Achievable. It must be what? Realistic and relevant. And there must be what? Time bound. Give them time to achieve that. Ladies and gentlemen, once we notice that there is a reduction or a diminishing quotient in ethical disposition in workplace, this is for employers. Then employers to try as much as possible, do the following. Try to identify the factors that diminish work ethics. Then try to encourage managers and supervisors to be ethically what? Compliant. Tell them to be exemplary. If you are telling me not to do this, don't do it too. So we should try to be exemplary. Then initiate team activities. Let people work together. If you have any personal grudges, working together will automatically channel a way to what? Resolving it. Then host one-on-one meeting with somebody that you have identified that displays unethical practice. Then try to design an ethics training program. this is not an training program. It's just an awareness. Sir, it is just what? An awareness. It is just for people to be aware of the ethical standards and the need to embrace it. But how do we what? Practice? How do we what? Actualize? They should be trained on that. Then try to escalate explicitly the ethical standard and code of the organization. You cannot give what you don't have. If people are not aware of the rules and regulations, how would they be able to abide by it? So you must try to, sir, I don't know if you have that. There must be condition of service. If you don't have it, I can assist you to establish that. There must be what? Conditions of service. And in the condition of service, there will be what is called ethical codes and conduct. So they will be aware. I don't need to do this. If I do this, I'll be sanctioned. I just look at those people that are jackpotting. Over there, they don't send you. If you commit any, look at that person that was sent back because he went to kill what? Squirrel. He wasn't aware. And that's why I don't cherish that law that says, ignorantium legusnum excusant. That ignorance of the law is not an excuse. It's a partial thing. If you, no, where there are no rules, there are no crimes. So when you say ignorance of the law that you have that you did not escalate, you did not make people know, then that means you are biased. I'm not saying you are biased now. If you do not have it, but unknown to him, it is against the rule of conduct to kill squirrel. And now, he jackpot, then they have jackpotted him. So, we'll try as much as possible to do that. Let them have it at their fingertips. They can have it in soft copies, in hard copies, around. Develop this ethical notice. Here we welcome this, and that. Use it as an ornament around the organization. So that will give them a caution whenever they see it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to lay around. See the Japanese and the Chinese. I could remember when I was still struggling, and I was one of the gardeners of Lucky Fiber. And if you are working and you do that, somebody say, hey, work, no, you will not be paid. They're not saying, and once they say you will not be paid, know that day is gone. It's gone. So let us, then it is important, motivate ethical, compliant staff. Maybe at the end of the year, maybe quarterly, maybe half yearly or yearly. In some organizations do it on monthly basis. Ethical staff of the month, ethical staff of fourth quarters. So that when you celebrate them, it will serve as a reinforcement in them and an emulative quotient in others. And, somebody has been, I'm going to be the staff of what? The ethical staff of next month. So try to reward, award, intrinsically, extrinsically, whether giving award, giving money, giving promotion, and the likes. You can even send some of them to go abroad. That jackpot they want to jackpot, send them there and give them time lag. Come back to Nigeria, come and face your order. So then, ladies and gentlemen, if organization want to get the best from their staff, they must be ready to give what? The best. Productivity is reciprocal just as respect is. The input will determine the output. It is ego and FIFO. Whatever you give in will be what? Manifested. And that's why I look at some of us that are married and we have female children. And we accuse our wives. Hey, you cannot give me a male child. It is what you have deposited in him or her. So whatever you give to the staff, you are going to get. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate you for listening. God bless you.
Thank you so much, sir.